Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Hydra, and this is Rust Console Edition. And this episode is all about my absolute favorite base that I've designed. It's the biggest base that I've designed, it's the strongest base that I've designed, and I've managed to keep all of the resources into it um, up to the point where it only costs, you can keep an entire day's worth of upkeep in this base. So this is perfect for all of the groups. You're not having to constantly run into the TC to fill it. It'll survive for 24 hours, and you guys are good to go. Guaranteed minimum rockets to raid all of this thing, because there are 8 main loot rooms in this. There's also 8 secondary loot rooms, 2 shooting floors, and a heli floor included in this. But in order to get into all of the 8 main loot rooms, it's a minimum of 120-ish rockets in order to get in, um, which makes this absolutely insane to get into. And if you were to take all of the door paths, you're looking at 141 rockets just in door paths. And if you go any other way, you're looking at 150 plus rockets to get into this thing. So, quick look at the exterior here. You'll see up on the top floor there that we have a shooting floor up there. It's nothing fancy, it's just a basic shooting floor. And you'll also notice that the base is 6 stories tall, because we also have an elevator in the center of the base. That's how you're going to move around. I will be doing an automatic elevator build here soon, so you guys can install that, but it's based around an elevator. And also you'll notice that I have all of these floors sticking off the side of my base. Well, that's to separate all of the loot rooms on the outside of the base to prevent rocket splash. So if they can't just take out both of these walls right here, they actually have to take out one and then the next one, and they have to do that for all of those. So you can also add that onto your bases. It's a really cheap, easy way to help prevent splash damage from rockets on the outside of your base, to force them to waste a lot more rockets getting into it. So that's the outside. And then we'll take a quick look here on the inside. So let me just turn my hood back on here for a second. So this base does require that you build an entrance in order to get into it, because the entrance is from the 3rd floor, or the 3rd story, I should say. So it does require that you build an entrance. So on our 3rd story here, we have an open core 3rd story. You can put workbenches here or whatever, but mostly I would just put all of your bags and everything up here, and some boxes in front of these windows so you can shoot out of them. And this is your way in and out. You have 4 different entrances for 4 different gatehouses. And I have a whole chinawall build specifically for this base that I will show in another video. But yeah, so we have 1 garage door coming in, and then we have 2 more garage doors, and that's the same on both sides for here. So we have a minimum of 3 garage doors to get in. Now, the only thing I can't prevent, and the only downside to the elevator and not being able to go in all 4 directions, is splash damage on these doors. So they can splash damage these doors, which does reduce the door path cost by 1. But in this base design, it's not really all that important. So we're going to start on the bottom floor, and then we're going to work our way up. So on the main floor here, on the bottom floor, which is the most protected because you also have the chinawall, this is where I'm going to put my TC and my main loot. So this is what I like to call a secondary loot room. You can pretty much get an entire loot room's worth of boxes in here. Your two large and then your two small boxes up top, well, three up top. And you can do the same down here. However, you have to place the large boxes in an L so you have a way through. And the reason why this is a secondary loot room is because it's behind the first three doors in this set of doors. So it's the first loot room that people are going to get to if they're trying to get to your main loot rooms. And then from there, behind another three garage doors, is going to be your main loot room. And this is where you keep, your maxed out loot room. So you got your two large boxes, small box, two small boxes, um, and then mirrored on the bottom. But then you also, if you really want to hyper maximize it, you can also put barbecues on top of these small boxes and get a hyper loot room. So that's what you can do if you want to have secondary loot rooms. And then on this side, again, after three garage doors, you could have a bedroom, or you can have your furnaces. You have your 5 furnaces along the wall and 2 large boxes. And this is going to be a furnace room, or you can have your tier 3 here and all of your stuff for making boom, which is probably what you're going to want to do because it's on the 3rd floor, well protected. And then I have my TC, my batteries, and my main power wall right here, the stuff that I know I don't want to get blown up for my power. It's going to be right here, and then the rest of my power setup is here. So it's nice and deep and far into my base. So each one of these has 6 garage doors that you have to get through. 6 times 3, 6 is 18, and 6 is 24, so that's 24 rockets. And then it's another 24 rockets on this side. So that's 48 rockets right there. Now if we go up a floor, we're not going to count these ones because we're going to pretend that these garage doors have been killed by splash. And you'll also notice too that these have 16 rockets to get through here as well. So it's forcing people to go through the garage doors. So it's equaling the raid cost all the way through. So, but we had 24 rockets down there on the bottom. And then again, behind these 3 doors, you can have either your secondary loot room, or you can have a bedroom, whatever you want here. And then again here you have another hyper loot room, or main loot room. And again, that's just mirrored here on the other side. Hyper loot room. So now we have 10 more doors in our door path. All right, so which is another 30 rockets. So we went from 48 up to 48 to 78 rockets. And then with these, it's 78, 81, 84, 87. So it's 87 rockets just to do the first 2 floors if you're going through the door paths. And if you go through anything else, it's 16 rockets just to get into the door paths. And then they still have to go through all of those doors. So either way, it all works out. Now if we go up one more floor, guess what we've got? It's the exact same thing. So we have another 4 hyper loot rooms with another 4 secondary loot rooms on another 2 floors, and these are the 2 floors that you're protecting on the outside, by the way, from splash damage. So you're forcing them to have to blow them all up. and it's just mirrored again up one more floor. Again, you can't help prevent the splash damage from this, but so it's basically just forcing everybody through the paths. And then up on the top floor, we have two different ways we can go. So we can go here out onto our shooting floor, which is just roofs and window frames with some metal embrasures. So you can get a good view up here. And you can see all the way around your base. And then if you want to take heli, you can take heli from in here. Because in here there's nothing that you have to worry about. So you can take off these windows and then shoot the heli through here, and you don't have to worry as much about being shot through here. And then this is also a secondary backup shooting floor if you need to, but this is mostly just for taking heli. And you can put some small boxes so you can get a better advantage. So you can also kill people that are on your roof here. And you put the sleeping bags for one so you can spawn up here, and for two, so you don't have to jump onto these boxes, you'll automatically just walk up onto them. So that kind of helps. And yeah, so that's the Dragon's Lair. It's like 120 rockets, give or take. Anybody who's going to come raid this thing is just going to pummel this thing anyway. More than 120 rockets. So you're looking at over a box and a half of rockets to break into this thing. And then if you look at the base stats right here, it's and it's 115 high qual. So as far as efficiency is concerned, this is probably the cheapest you're ever going to see a base of this size and this strength. And because of that, you should be just shy, if you put in 23,000 metal frags and 100 high qual, you should be just shy of that 24-hour mark for upkeep on this entire base. So it's, in my opinion, it's a heck, it's it's worth it. This is my biggest and best group-based design that I've come up with so far. I do have one slightly different version of this, but really it doesn't. It just gives you a little bit more space downstairs. Um, yeah, so I hope you guys like it. I hope you enjoyed. One of my next videos coming up very soon will be the China wall that goes all the way around it. It only requires one TC. This one TC right here is all that it requires in order to completely protect and surround this entire base with a China wall. It's one fully connected China wall. And that China wall also includes, as you can see here, because I start my base off of where I'm going to place this TC. But this base also includes a boathouse, which is why I build next to the water. It includes two external gatehouses, so you can quickly get in and out using the big, large gates. And it also includes a complete, fully enclosed furnace base. On top of that, where you can put in a large furnace, and you can also put in a refiner as well. And if you really need to, I don't suggest it, but if you really need to, then you can also fit two more large furnaces in your in your gatehouse entrances and exits that are all connected onto this external, what's it called? The external China wall shell. But yeah, man, this took me forever to build and to design. It, hundreds of hours of watching other people design videos on YouTube. I noticed that not very many people use the floor print that this uses because it is quite difficult to build. So I decided to play around with it, and I think I've built something that's pretty awesome. And also, I've just reached my 50 subscriber mark. I'm actually at 52 now. Woohoo! Um, and so I'm super happy about that. So I decided to um, make this video because my last group base video was my best performing video ever, and then also somebody asked me if I could build a large group base. So here it is. I hope this helps. This is my favorite build yet. I will be playing around and toying with this base just to see if I can make some minor improvements, save some costs on it. But yeah, man, this one was a lot of fun. If you want to see how to build it, I did do a live stream on it. It's about an hour and a half long, so you can just skip through it as you need to. But it's pretty basic. Once you learn how to build the first two floors, you should be able to pretty much figure out how to do the rest pretty quickly. It all builds the same. So thank you guys very much for liking, watching, subscribing. I do appreciate all of you. Any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always around. I'll always answer. And you'll always be able to hop in here and play with me, and I can help you guys out in here too if need be. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye, guys.